Sagittarius, there is something that if you don't face today, Gabriel says, it will make you cry forever, not with tears, but with a kind of regret so deep it cannot be undone. And if you are Sagittarius, a soul born with the mission to carry light for others, then this video is the final wake-up call meant just for you. I'm not here to frighten you, I'm here to remind you. There is a part of you that has been sealed, and if you don't open it soon, the universe will close the very gate you've been waiting a lifetime to walk through. Write this down now. I am ready to open the sacred gate of my soul. This isn't just a declaration, it is an official invitation from the angel meant for you, Sagittarius. And in just a moment, you'll understand why Archangel Gabriel has chosen Sagittarius, not anyone else, to deliver a warning about a truth you've been carefully, deliberately burying deep within. Have you ever seen a flame, one that appeared to be burning bright, but when you stepped closer, you realized it was quietly dying? There are souls who bring light to the world, but never learned how to preserve even a single spark for themselves. And Sagittarius, you are one of them. Not because you're weak, but because you've been strong for so long that you don't even remember the last time you truly stopped just to cry. Right now in your astrological chart, the moon is passing through the 12th house, the house of secrets, hidden memories, and the vault where the soul stores everything that's been locked away. No one else can see it, but you can feel it. A nameless weight, a pressure buried inside you, like a dream you haven't fully remembered, yet it makes your heart feel heavy every morning you wake. And it is in this very moment that Gabriel appears, not to demand change, but to ask you a question so gentle, yet powerful enough to silence your entire life. Are you sure you can keep running forever? I used to believe people like you, Sagittarius, were the fearless ones, free souls, untouched by fear. But then I looked closer, and what I saw in your eyes wasn't adventure. It was a sorrow without shape, a sadness left behind in childhood, a feeling of never being chosen, of never being allowed to stay, of never being loved without having to earn it. Am I right? You learned to smile before you ever learned how to notice you were in pain. You became someone who knows how to comfort others, but doesn't know how to let yourself be soft. And Gabriel, the angel of emotion, can no longer stay silent. He doesn't come with wings, he comes with memory. A familiar phrase, a scent that stirs something deep, a fleeting moment you thought you had forgotten, but your soul still holds tightly. I see you, he says. I see the parts of you you've been deliberately avoiding. You can't keep healing others if you still refuse to touch your own wounds. You can't keep lighting the way for the world if there are corners of your heart still waiting to be named. Because light does not come from perfection. True light comes from truth, spoken aloud. There is something astrology rarely says out loud, but Gabriel knows it well. When the 12th house is activated, especially for Sagittarius, the universe is asking you to clear out the sacred space within your soul, not so you can become someone new, but so you can return to the truest version of who you've always been. The one who once dreamed, once loved without conditions, once believed for no reason at all. But then one day you were betrayed. You were mocked for your innocence. You were left by someone you thought would never leave. And from that day on, you learned one thing: no one stays. But Sagittarius, that is a conclusion born of pain, not of truth. Because Gabriel has always been there, watching, waiting. You've learned how to run far away just to forget, but you've never once paused long enough to ask, what part of me was left behind first? So pause now, just for a moment. Take a deep breath, and if you feel it, if even a part of your soul is stirring, write this down. I used to smile to hide the pain of being left behind. It's just a sentence, but it might be the confession your soul has waited a lifetime to release. I believe this deeply. Not everyone is ready to meet their own softness, but once Sagittarius dares to, that's when you become truly invincible. Because there is nothing left to hide, nothing left to fear, and that sets you free. You don't have to keep living as if you don't need anyone. You don't have to disappear every time your heart aches. You don't have to be strong all the time, just because people expect it of you. I once witnessed a Sagittarius break, not because they were weak, but because they never let anyone know they were hurting. And I learned this: the best healers are the ones who can admit they need healing too. Gabriel doesn't blame you for pretending to be okay. He just wants you to know you don't have to pretend anymore, because he is here to hold your hand, exactly where you once believed you had to walk alone. And here is the message from the angels sent just for Sagittarius. If you're brave enough to look at the part of yourself you've hidden, I promise you will never have to cry alone again. So write it down now as a declaration. I am ready to step into the part of my soul I once avoided. It's not just a statement. It is the key that opens a new chapter, one that Gabriel has been holding open for a very long time. And if you're ready to walk into the land you once feared, come with me, because in the very next moment, you will understand why Archangel Gabriel said, if you don't dare to love again, you will cry forever. And what from your past has sealed the heart of a Sagittarius so tightly? There is a kind of dream that never comes true, not because it isn't worthy, but because the dreamer wakes themselves too soon, before ever reaching the part where they were finally loved. Gabriel looks at you with the eyes of someone who has waited a long time to return something you didn't know you had abandoned. Love. Not the kind that burns fast and fades, but the kind that stays. The kind that sees your imperfections and still chooses you. And Gabriel whispers, I didn't come to show you your flaws. I came to help you remember the moment you forgot to love yourself. Your chart, dear Sagittarius, is hosting a rare event. Chiron, the asteroid of soul wounds, is crossing into the 5th house, the house of love, creation, and innocent joy. But the irony is, when Chiron touches the 5th house, you no longer believe love is safe. You once loved like fire, but someone extinguished you with a cold hand. Since then, you've kept moving. You're good at forming bonds, but struggle to stay rooted. You love, but don't say it. You stay, but always have one foot out the door. Gabriel sees it all. He does not blame you. He only grieves because so much love is trying to reach you, and yet it keeps getting blocked by a fear built from a heart once broken. An arrow can never find its mark if the archer won't aim at their own heart. Sagittarius is the one who launches the arrow, but your own heart is the one place you've never truly looked. You're willing to travel thousands of miles to search for life's meaning, but you hesitate when someone looks you in the eye and says, I'm here, and I'm not leaving. Maybe, in your journey around the world to find yourself, you forgot that. Sometimes all you need to do is sit still and allow someone to love you, exactly as you are. No performance, no proof. Gabriel places his hand over your heart. Can you feel it? That gentle flutter, like the wings of a bird, but powerful enough to awaken the soft places in you you've denied for so long. Love does not make you weak. It helps you remember how radiant you were when you didn't have to defend yourself. And if this is touching something in you, if you feel that you've been unconsciously rejecting true love, then say it softly, as a whispered promise to your own soul, I will not run anymore. Drop a like. Not for this video, but as a symbol. You've started to open the door. We don't cry because no one loves us. We cry because we ourselves refuse the chance to be loved, simply because someone from our past couldn't see our worth. Gabriel doesn't want you to cry anymore. He asks only one thing. Try, just once, to love without armor. To love not to fill an emptiness, but to reflect the light you've always carried. Do you know this, Sagittarius? Every soul carries a unique frequency of love, one that cannot be replicated. And when you hide that frequency out of fear, the world loses a sacred language that only you are meant to speak. So write this down as a soul's invocation. I am ready to love without fear. And the moment you believe it, Gabriel will send someone sensitive enough to hear the language of your heart, even when you say nothing at all. And if you're still wondering, what happened in your past that made a Sagittarius build such walls around their heart? Why do you always feel fine when you're alone, yet empty in the moments when no one is watching? And now you'll begin to understand. False freedom can make you strong. But what does it cost? And is there someone right now trying to enter your heart, but being held back by the very fear you thought you had already released? I used to believe Sagittarius was the kind of soul who only needed a map, a backpack, and an open road. I used to think you were a wanderer who needed no one, a soul who could walk away without ever looking back, someone so good at letting go it seemed as if nothing ever lingered in your heart. But I was wrong. So wrong. Because behind that radiant smile is a quiet exhaustion. A spirit always on the move. Not because they had no home, but because the place they once called home hurt them too deeply. And astrology is telling you this now. Sagittarius, Saturn, planet of limits and soul lessons, is currently transiting your 4th house, the house of emotional roots, family, and buried memories. Lately, you may have felt yourself slowing down, not from fatigue, but from something unnamed. A sadness that creeps in, a pull inward, not because you're tired, but because you're no longer sure who is safe to trust. Saturn in the 4th house is never easy. It demands that you face your most primal sense of rejection, the one you experienced as a child, when the person you loved most could not truly see you. It's when you learn to become independent, not because you were strong, but because you had no other choice. And from that day forward, you became an expert at needing no one, at not asking, not clinging, not breaking, and most of all, at never letting anyone close enough to hurt you again. Gabriel understands. He does not judge. He simply asks softly, "So, are you happy with that kind of freedom? You once believed, freedom means no one can hold me back. But eventually you realized, no one held you back, even when you desperately needed someone to hold you still. Freedom, without connection, is just loneliness dressed in the costume of independence. I've seen many Sagittarians live this way, self-sufficient, self-healing, self-moving, until one night they break down in silence because not one person asked, "Are you okay today?" Have you ever feared commitment so deeply that you accidentally pushed away someone who truly cared for you? Someone who once stood ready to stay, but you shut the door thinking they'll leave eventually, just like everyone else. But true freedom is not needing no one. It's knowing you are still whole, even when you are loved, even when you are needed, even when someone chooses to stay. You can still be you. Even when someone holds your hand at midnight and says, "You don't have to go anywhere. Here is home too." Gabriel places a small key in your hand. Not a key to open a new door, but the one that unlocks your old heart. The one you sealed shut so long ago with a perfectly valid reason. So no one could hurt me again. But true love does not come to wound. It comes to soothe, to soften, to remind, to make you feel, finally, that there's a place where you no longer have to guard yourself. Write this down. If something in you feels this deeply, I once used freedom to hide my fear of being abandoned. That is not weakness. It is an act of courage. Because in doing so, you've just given Gabriel the chance to step in and begin healing the part of your soul that has been silent for too long. And if you're breathing lighter now, if some part of you feels seen, finally seen, let this be your signal. Click that like, not for the video, but as a sacred marker, that you are ready to love again. Even if that love is simply for yourself, for the very first time, without running halfway through. And if you've convinced yourself you've mastered the art of needing no one, what comes next will reveal the truth you didn't expect. There is a soul actively trying to find their way back to you. Not to trap you, but to remind you that you deserve a love you don't have to run from. And Archangel Gabriel is holding a message never spoken before, crafted only for the heart that's still learning how to believe again. There is a kind of light that doesn't blaze like the sun, nor sparkle like fireworks, but waits, gently, like a small lantern left quietly at your heart's doorstep for the night you no longer had the strength to open it yourself. That is Gabriel's light. And the card drawn for this sacred moment? None other than the star. The star of hope. The star of divine direction. The star that only appears when everything else seems to have gone dark. You've cried before, but no one knew. You called out, not with your voice, but through the sighs you buried into your pillow at 2 a.m. And Gabriel heard. He heard them all. You don't need to scream to be seen. Gabriel has always heard the tears you've hidden in silence. Astrology now reveals something gentle but immense. Neptune, planet of faith and intuition, is forming a trine to your Sagittarius sun. This is not just a transit, it's a sacred doorway, a chance for you to finally step out of the locked room of logic and return to the soft voice of your own heart. You've been strong for too long. You've been logical for too long. You've said, "I'm fine," so many times, even your heart forgot what's real. But Gabriel remembers. He knows. You are simply learning how to keep walking with a heart that once got left behind. So now there's one question waiting at this very moment. If you were offered a second chance, to be loved, to be trusted, to be chosen, would you dare to open your heart again? No one is rushing you. No one is asking you to forgive, to trust overnight. Gabriel only invites you to say this one gentle thing: I give myself permission to heal. Write that down, not as a promise to anyone, but as a sacred pact with your own soul, because you deserve it. For far too long, you've known how to give light, but not how to receive it. We don't have to wait for apologies to begin healing, because the light was never outside. It begins the moment you decide, I will no longer imprison my soul in the wounds of the past. Gabriel waits for you, on the other side of the pain you thought you'd never get through. He doesn't bring miracles. He brings only a question and a lamp. Will you allow me to walk with you through the place you once believed you had to walk alone? I don't believe in loud, glittering miracles. I believe in quiet moments when someone dares to open up just a little, and the light slips in through that one brave crack. Gabriel doesn't need you to be perfect. He only needs your permission to begin again. And if you're still listening, and your heart feels even a flicker of warmth, that is your sign. The lantern has been placed. Now the only thing left is for you to open the door. Write it down. I give myself permission to heal. You don't have to understand it all. You only have to trust that Gabriel is holding your hand now, as soft as breath, but stronger than any fear you've ever known. And if you can feel this energy, don't go just yet, because next, you'll be led to a moment more sacred than light itself. The moment you realize you are not only the one being healed, but also the one chosen by God to light the way for others. Gabriel is not done speaking, Sagittarius. There is a mission your soul signed long ago, before you were even born. There is a truth you've always felt. Even when no one said it, even without evidence, even when you doubted it yourself, that you are not like the others. That there is something inside you, a flame, a calling, a longing to break free from the boundaries, not just to live for yourself, but to bring meaning into this world. Sagittarius is the sign of the light bearer, the missionary of the cosmos, the one who carries truth, knowledge, and divine vision to places others have never dared to go. But the question Gabriel asks freezes the air itself. You are a torch, but you're hiding in the dark. There are torches not extinguished by the wind, but by doubt. Gabriel sees you, not with judgment, but with the eyes of someone who once watched you burn brilliantly before you dimmed your own light. Because you realized, yes, you shine, but only when no one's watching. You inspire others, but only when they can't see the exhaustion behind your smile. You lead the way, but never really let anyone see the vulnerable parts inside you. No one can take your light away unless you stop turning it on. You don't need to be ready, or strong, or perfect. You only need to be honest. Because light doesn't ask you to be without darkness. It only asks you to face it and still choose to keep walking. Now, I want you to imagine this. A planet swallowed by shadow won't be saved by logic. It can only be saved by one small beam of light coming from a distant place, where someone dared to believe that their light might still make a difference. That someone is you, Sagittarius. You are not here to live a life of repetition. You are not born to follow the same path as others. You are a chosen soul, not because you are flawless, but because you dared to long for something greater than yourself. And the universe has seen that in you for a very long time. You don't need to be better than anyone. You only need to be braver than yesterday. Brave enough to stop hiding your own light. And if right now, something in your chest begins to stir, a quiet urge, subtle but undeniable, that is Gabriel awakening you. Gently, with a final invitation, stand up, not to prove anything, but to finally live in alignment with your soul. Do you feel it's time? Time to step beyond your comfort zone, beyond those old fears, and begin living as the light you were born to be. If your answer is yes, then write it down as a declaration to the universe. I am ready to live as the light I was born to be. Don't underestimate this small act. Because when you declare with words, you activate a chain of inner transformation, and Gabriel will receive it as a sacred sign that you have accepted your divine mission. And if you're still hesitating, remember, true light is not the absence of darkness. but the choice to shine even while the shadows remain. But Gabriel has not left. He holds one more gift, a sacred map designed just for you, Sagittarius. Because when you're ready to walk in your own light, the universe sends you a promise and opens a new door. And just ahead, you will see, the final great opportunity of this month is approaching, like a star waiting for you to notice it again. Thank you for staying with me this far. Not everyone is brave enough to hear an angel's call. Not everyone is awake enough to realize they are the light the world has been waiting for. If you feel something has touched your heart, don't let it remain just a thought. Write it down. Share this video. As a soul declaration, I, Sagittarius, will no longer hide. I am ready to live with the light God breathed into me from the very beginning. Write it in the comments. Send this video to someone who may need a divine reminder. And if you feel that you've been healed, let that light continue to spread by clicking like and sharing it. Because you haven't just stepped into the light, you are the light. And this world needs you more than you know.